War. The legislature in Colorado has backed down, again, on a chance to do something good. Does this surprise you? Many people thought this would be the year that the legislature would allow small farmers to grow hemp. The only thing at stake is the future of the planet, but the fools decided it's more important to keep locking most of us up than to preserve the environment and the family farm. It's easy to just say that the legislators and police are a bunch of evil jerks, but what would that accomplish? And is it really true? The news always gets reported that the police claim that farmers growing hemp would mean an increase in the illicit cultivation of its cousin, marijuana. The police make money when we follow irrational social policies like locking everyone up rather than growing environmentally sound alternative fibers. Sure, the legislators are fools. At least many of them are, because they're sacrificing our future to the so-called war on drugs. And the real force behind the drug war is not the police. The police are just stupid enough to support the continued illegality of hemp and to be public about it. The real interests behind keeping alternative fibers off the market are those interests which produce the products that would have to compete with hemp. Hemp is the most useful plant in the world. It can be grown in a short time. In Colorado, some have estimated it would be possible to produce up to 3 crops a year from one piece of land. Hemp can be used for nearly everything, really. Textiles of all kinds, food, fuel, paper, and more. The reason people think we should grow hemp is that hemp is an environmentally sound alternative to plastics and wood products. The use and production of petroleum and its derivatives is destroying the environment. The harvesting and use of wood products is not only unsightly, it's also destroying our environment. So who wants us to keep using petroleum and wood? Really, really big corporations that thrive in a value system that sacrifices family farmers and the environment on the altar of private profits. But the drug war is more complicated than that. Sure, the drug war preserves the profits of forest product companies, but it's also a means of social control. The million nonviolent offenders in jail on petty drug charges are people that the economy cannot provide for. We don't have jobs, job training, or other social services for these people. Everyone has to be somewhere, and if the nonviolent offenders were on the street, they might be demanding jobs at decent wages. Further, the drug war serves as a support system for the alcohol and tobacco industries. If we decriminalized marijuana, for example, we would need a way of classifying it. Obviously, this would be done with mechanisms very similar to alcohol. But we wouldn't want slick TV ads or billboards trying to entice kids to take up pot smoking, the way the alcohol and tobacco industries do with their products. And if we were going to decriminalize pot, but outlaw advertising it, then we would have to outlaw all advertising for beer and cigarettes as well. Advertising drugs is just not acceptable. If that's not enough, the drug war also allows the CIA to raise funds for its human rights abuses all over the world through the sale of heroin and cocaine. Despotic governments all over the world are propped up by the CIA and the sale of drugs. The growing of hemp is a direct challenge to the entire drug war mentality, and it is a direct challenge to the profit interests of Exxon, Dow Chemical, Philip Morris, and Georgia Pacific. Threatening the drug war is also a direct challenge to the CIA's covert action capabilities, not to mention the governments of Colombia and Peru. But the tide is turning. People are starting to realize that the drug war is more destructive than the drugs themselves. People are starting to realize that the future of our children and our children's children is more important than the profits of Dow Chemical. Someday, people will realize that there are just no good reasons for not growing a miracle plant like hemp to make our lives more comfortable and to protect the environment for the future. Someday, people will see that the purpose of the so-called war on drugs is to keep us down and to support someone else's profits, not to protect us. Hopefully, our society and environment will not have already been destroyed when this time comes. This is Richard Curtis.